sit down. Yeah, everybody who is running, so we can go ahead and knock this out. I really hate that Lindsey Graham couldn't make it today, because I've wanted to ask him a question for the longest time, and I keep trying to go to events he's at, and they won't let me in. But so then I came up with this plan. I got this idea. I don't know what you guys think. Since the members of the Muslim Brotherhood don't seem to have trouble accessing Lindsey Graham, say in Egypt, perhaps I could join the Muslim Brotherhood, and then he would meet with me. What do you think about that idea?
I think you should try it.
Just send him back to Egypt. All right, enough with that. Seriously though, my question that I would ask Lindsey Graham if I could, not die and ask him this question, is this: if you sponsor a bill to ban abortion after 20 weeks at the federal level, why did you bother when you know you voted for the two most liberal judges on the Supreme Court who will fix that legislation the second they get a chance? Why bother telling the whole state what an anti-abortion champion you are if you know you've stacked the court with the people who are going to do in your bill? All right, I'll get off my high horse. Nothing gets me more riled. Let's hear from the guys who are asking some of the same kinds of questions of Senator Lindsey Graham. The first is South Carolina Senator Lee Wright. Welcome, Lee Wright.
150 plus years ago today they fired these cannons at Fort Sumter. For the war for Southern independence began 150 plus years ago today. Now, I'm not advocating firing cannonballs at Washington, D.C.
Why not?
But I think they do need some wrecking balls. Yeah. Washington, they don't understand. The greatest threat to national security is Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
You will never, ever have recovery to Main Street, USA, until you bring recession to Washington, D.C. It is us versus them. They are destroying our country. You talk about states' rights. Look what's going on in Nevada right now. It's out of control. This rancher wants to feed his cattle. And what's going on with Harry Reid out there? Lots of questions. But who won't ask those questions? Lindsey Graham won't ask those questions because that's his buddy. Right. That's who he goes to get legislation like amnesty passed. Lindsey Graham's running ads on the radio now talking about getting things done. Well, let me tell you something. I'm not so proud of the things he's gotten done. The debt ceiling increases. Amnesty I mentioned before. And let's talk about the things he didn't get done that I'm glad he didn't get done. He wanted boots on the ground in Syria. He's trying to aid the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. Cap and trade. It's all part of the EPA agenda. Let's think about this. Think about the wacko environmentalists we got in this country right now. The reason that man can't graze his cattle is, they say, because of tortoises. Well, the crony capitalists have gone in together with the environmentalists, and they're destroying free enterprise in this country. Somebody's got to stand in the gap. Somebody's got to stand in the way and take the fight to Washington, D.C., take the fight to Barack Obama. And it's not just Obama. It's Harry Reid, it's Nancy Pelosi, it's all the leftists. I mean, they used to be embarrassing colleges and their lecture halls, and now they're running the country. We got to put a stop to it. If you don't believe this country's in trouble, you're a part of the problem. We got to go out there and take the fight to this crowd, because if we don't, we're going to be the generation that lost freedom. To hear the stories about what went on with the Lawrence Tea Party, to hear about they were intimidated, it's time for the fair tax. It's time to abolish the IRS. It's time to stop the tyranny that is Washington, D.C. They work for us. They are outside the bounds of the Constitution. They have very limited roles that they can do. National defense is one. And by national defense, we don't mean policemen of the world. Yep. Being involved in every conflict around the globe is not good for our country. Since 9/11, there's been $200 million in wrongful death suits settled by the VA administration. Where's Lindsey Graham? When it's time to send our troops in harm's way to put boots on the ground most of the time in nations that hate us, Lindsey Graham's first for the fight. Where is he when he's standing for our veteran? He's not there. Our veterans deserve our respect. You know, we hear about these Obama phones. Everybody's got it. Now they get free texting. Everybody feels entitled. They feel entitled to your earnings. They do it through the income tax. It's how it's done. Let me tell you who's entitled. That's our veterans. That's one group that's entitled. I'm sick and tired of what they're doing in my country. I'm going to fight to stop them, but I need your help. Let me tell you, Lindsey Graham's got a lot of money. He's like that well-heeled giant that we all know about. It took a smooth stone. We got to get a smooth stone and take out that giant. Once we do that, we'll take this fight to Washington, D.C. Right. They'll hear from South Carolina. They'll think those cannons are blazing again. Because we'll take the fight to Washington. We haven't done it. Ted Cruz is doing it. Rand Paul's doing it. Mike Lee's doing it. Thomas Massey, Jeff Duncan, Mark Sanford. We got people taking the fight to D.C., but we need a U.S. Senator. A U.S. Senator that's going to go and do it. Tim Scott's doing a good job, but we need some out there making some noise. I'm telling you what, we don't need people to go up there and get our piece of the pie from Washington, D.C. We need somebody that's going to shut down the bakery. This crony capitalism is bankrupting our nation. We can't afford it anymore. We cannot afford it. We're not $20 trillion in debt. We're $100 trillion in debt. It's got to stop. We can't afford to be the policeman of the world. Right off the coast of South Carolina, we have natural gas. Lindsey Graham's a senior U.S. Senator. He's got all this pull. Get us an EPA permit so we can drill for our own natural gas. Why do we fund nations that hate us for our terrible energy policy? I was in Oklahoma a while back. We had a little fundraiser out there, which we're taking donations still, brightforsenate.com. But we were out in Oklahoma, and I had some ranchers telling me that they had to go out in the middle of the night to cut down a tree because the EPA said their land was on wetlands. They had a puddle in the yard, and the EPA was telling them what private property rights had been lost. We better watch it. Second Amendment rights are completely under assault. Every time there's a tragedy, they look to grab our gun rights. What do we need to do? Get rid of these gun-free zones. Let me tell you something. You are not safe in a gun-free zone. You need to be armed to be able to protect and defend yourself. That is a human right. The right to self-defense is a human right. They always want to talk about human rights. Let's talk about the right to self-defense. I mean, even in the state of South Carolina, we can't get a constitutional carry bill because even people in Columbia think they know better. It's time for us to tell them we know better. How do you tell them that? You beat these incumbents. You beat some of these people that are bringing tyranny to our land. You send them home. Listen, I don't wish ill Lindsey Graham. I would love for him to be a contributor to Fox News. Just get him out of the U.S. Senate. And stop letting the media pick your candidates. The media keeps telling us we got to have moderates. Listen, the last time we had a real win was with Reagan. Remember the landslide? And they said Reagan was a libertarian. Watch the 60 Minutes interview. I mean, when he talked about supply-side economics and the fact that cutting taxes raise revenues, when he talked about that, what did George Bush Sr. say? What did he say? Voodoo economics. Let me tell you something. They've been mocking us for a long time, since Goldwater. It's time to take our country back. So I'm asking for your help. We need your prayers. Support. We have got to beat Lindsey Graham. We've got to get him to run off. You do your part in getting him to run off, and we will finish him off 2 weeks later. Thank you.
Candidate for you.